754 billion parameters, 44 billion active per token, trained entirely on Huawei hardware, no NVIDIA in sight. And it just beat GPT-5.4 on multiple benchmarks while costing 70% less. This is GLM-5.1 from Z.ai, the international face of Beijing's Zhipu AI. And it might be the most important model you've never heard of. The AI world is obsessed with OpenAI and Anthropic, but China has been building, quietly, persistently, and GLM-5.1 is the proof that the second AI race isn't just a two-horse thing anymore. Let me show you what it can actually do, where it beats the American models, and why the tech industry in Asia is paying very close attention. GLM-5.1 landed in early May 2026, and it came with very little fanfare. No massive marketing campaign, no Sam Altman tweet storm, no influencers breaking down the demo in real time. But the specs told a different story. Built on a mixture of experts' architecture, GLM-5.1 has 754 billion total parameters with 44 billion active per token. For context, that's a significantly larger parameter count than GPT-5. 5 at similar active usage, more bang per compute dollar. The headline capability is the 8-hour autonomous horizon. This isn't a model optimized for quick chat responses. It's optimized for sustained multi-hour execution loops. Plan, execute code, test, self-correct, across thousands of steps without human intervention. And the output window is 128,000 tokens. You can generate an entire software repository in a single turn. No streaming, no incremental generation. Just one prompt, one massive output. Done. Here's where it gets technically interesting. And this is the part that AI researchers are actually excited about. GLM-5.1 uses something Z.ai calls rumination, an internal reasoning cycle where the model drafts and refines its strategy in a hidden state before outputting anything. It's not chain of thought visible to the user. It's the model thinking silently before committing to an answer. The practical effect is a significant reduction in strategy drift. That common failure mode where an agent starts strong on a task, but gradually wanders off topic as the context window fills. Rumination keeps the model honest, aligned to the original goal, even across very long execution traces. The Huawei training story is worth dwelling on. Z.ai trained GLM-5.1 entirely on 100,000 Huawei Ascend 910 billion chips. This was a deliberate choice, not a constraint. It proves that frontier-level performance is achievable without NVIDIA's H100 architecture. Whether you see this as a technical achievement or a geopolitical statement depends on your perspective, but the numbers don't lie. This model competes with GPT-5.5 and Claude 4.7 on real engineering benchmarks. Let's talk benchmarks. Real ones, not the cherry-picked charts. So we bench Pro, the industry standard for autonomous coding agents. GLM-5.1 hit 58.4%. For context, GPT-5.5 came in at 58.6% and Claude 4.7 led at 64.3%. GLM sits essentially tied with GPT-5. 5 here, a hair behind within margin of error. On L2 repo, repository creation from natural language. GLM-5.1 actually led at 42.7%, beating GPT-5.5's 41.3%, and Claude 4.7 49.8%. This is the task where you describe a project in plain English, and the model generates the full codebase. Terminal Bench 2.0, the one that matters for actual developer workflows, is where things get interesting. GPT-5.5 dominates at 82.7%. Claude 4.7 hits 69.4%. GLM-5.1 comes in at 63.5%. It's behind, but not embarrassingly so for a model that costs 70% less per token. GPQA Diamond, expert-level reasoning. GLM-5.1 scores 90%. GPT 5. 5 hits 90, 2.4%. Claude 4.7 leads at 94.2%. Again, close behind the American leaders. The honest summary. GLM-5.1 is competitive across the board. It leads in repository creation, it trails in terminal-heavy tasks. It's not the overall champion, but it's never embarrassingly far behind. And it's significantly cheaper. Here's the part that doesn't show up in benchmark tables. GLM-5.1 is a sovereign AI milestone built from the ground up to comply with China's interim measures for generative AI. It includes native content filtering and safety protocols aligned with domestic requirements. This makes it the default choice for Chinese enterprises that need a frontier-level model without regulatory friction. The MIT licensed weights are the strategic play. By releasing open weights, Z.ai has enabled global companies to host the model locally, bypassing U.S. export restrictions, ensuring data residency for finance and defense applications. The bilingual capability is another dimension. GLM-5.1's English reasoning matches GPT/Claude quality, but its Chinese technical proficiency, coding, documentation, enterprise workflows in Chinese, is unmatched. For companies operating in both markets, it's the only model that doesn't compromise on either language. So here's the honest verdict. GLM-5.1 is the industry's best contractor model, ideal for developers who need an autonomous agent to handle 8-hour engineering shifts at a fraction of the cost of proprietary US models. If you need the absolute highest benchmark ceiling, Claude 4.7 still leads overall. If you need terminal-first workflow excellence, GPT-5 still dominates there. But if you're building cost-conscious agentic workflows, long-running tasks, automated pipelines, repository-scale generation, GLM-5.1 at $1.40 per million input tokens is a compelling proposition. That's roughly 70% cheaper than GPT-5. And if you're operating in bilingual Chinese-English enterprise environments, GLM-5.1 might be the only model that doesn't make you compromise. The second AI race is here, and it's not just two competitors anymore.